welcome to this video. In this video, we are going to see the usage of super keyword in the Java programming in the concept of inheritance. The first usage of super keyword is to call the superclass constructor, and the second usage of super keyword is to access the members of the superclass, which is mainly hidden by the members of the subclass. The main usage of the superclass is using with method overriding concept. So we have the same method name which is available in the superclass and also in the derived class. So that time to invoke the superclass member, we are using the super keyword in the derived class. So now we'll see the demo how we can use the super keyword in the usage of calling the superclass constructor and also in the context of method overriding. And this is my Eclipse environment where I am going to give the demo of the super keyword. First, I am going to create a base class. So I am going to create a base class called as shape, which have a data member called as side, and also it have one empty constructor with shape. Since you know the usage of constructor, the constructor get invoked whenever an object is created, and the constructor is mainly used to initialize the data members of the class. So I'm going to initialize the data member, and also I'm going to add one sout statement, and to specify it is a base constructor with 0 argument, and followed by I'm going to create a derived class which is a class name called as rectangle. To specify the rectangle classes deriving or inheriting from the base class, we are using the keyword called as extends. So the shape class is extended inside the rectangle class, and the rectangle class having two data members, length and breadth. And to initialize that values, I'm going to add one constructor called as rectangle constructor, and which get initialized with the value length is equal to 5 and breadth is equal to 4 or 3. So now I'm going to add one sout statement where I'm going to add with the output statement, that is it is a derived class constructor and with the data member is 0 argument. And now the next job, now the classes got created with the base and the derived. The next job is you need to create the object of the derived class to access the data members of the base class and also the derived class. So rectangle r is equal to new rectangle. So since you know whenever I invoke the constructor or I invoke the or create the object using the new keyword, the constructor get invoked. So the constructor here and the constructor will initialize the data member. So this is a common definition, everyone will know it. Now, can you able to tell or can you able to know what is the output I will get when I execute this statement? So when I create an object of this derived class, so I have now two constructors, one is in my base class and one is in my derived class. So you can just imagine which constructor get executed so that I will get what output. So maybe you may think whenever I create an object for the derived class, the derived class constructor get invoked. So the derived class constructor get executed. But it is not true. If you try to execute the program, you see the output. The order of execution of the constructor is always the base class constructor get executed first, then only our derived class constructor get executed. So the first thing you have to remember, the order of execution of constructor, that is base class first, then the derived class. So now what I'm going to do next, I'm going to overload the constructor. Since you know what is meant by overloading. Overloading means the same function to be returned with different signature inside the same class. So here I'm going to write multiple constructor with different signatures in the same class. So I'm going to overload a next function or next constructor which have one argument, yes. So I am going to add with side is equal to s, and I am going to now tell it is a base constructor with one argument. The same way I am going to overload a constructor in my derived class also. I am going to add one rectangle constructor with two arguments, length and breadth, and I am going to initialize the length value to be L and the breadth value to be B, and followed by I am going to use one S out, and I am going to tell the constructor is a derived constructor with two arguments. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, instead of creating an object with an empty constructor, now I am going to create the object with two argument constructor available in my derived class. So I am going to pass the value 10 and 20. And after doing that, I just want to print what is the value available in the r dot side. And then I need to check what is the value available in r dot length. And then what is the value available in r dot breadth. So now, can you able to imagine which constructor gets executed? What is the order of execution or what output you will get now? Okay, I will clear my console. Now the constructor, whatever I am calling, is a two argument constructor. Since two constructors are overloaded, one with no argument, one with two argument. So when the object get created, it will match this constructor and this constructor get executed. But I know the order of execution is base class constructor first and then the derived class. So what output I will get now? See here, before executing my derived class constructor, the base class empty constructor get executed first. The order of execution, the base class constructor, empty constructor get executed first, then only my derived class constructor with two argument get executed. Then you may think, what about this one argument constructor? It's not invoked, is it? So if I want to invoke this base class constructor through my derived class, since you know that whenever I create an object to the derived class, the derived class constructor, and inside that your empty constructor of the base class get executed first. But now I have a one argument constructor in my base class. So how can I invoke this one argument constructor through my derived class object? So there only your super keyword comes to play. Okay. So inside the derived class constructor, you use the super keyword. So using the super keyword, it will invoke the immediate superclass constructor, immediate base class constructor. So what the base class constructor need? It need the side value. So I am going to pass my side value to 2, or if I try to change some other value, okay, 5. So previously the default constructor is called, so I am getting 2, and the input I pass for the length is 10 and the breadth is 20. So the output is 2, 10, 20. The 2 is coming from this empty constructor. Since the order of execution is base class constructor first, then only the derived class constructor. And now I am invoking this two argument constructor, and using this derived class constructor, I need to call the base class constructor. To use that, we are using the super keyword. So now what will happen whenever you create the object with rectangle class, it will go and match this rectangle constructor. Before getting executed the content of the rectangle constructor, it will call the superclass. superclass of the rectangle class is shape class, and in that it will match with the constructor with one argument, and it will initialize the value to side is equal to yes. So now I will execute the same program. So now I will get the output 5. So using the super keyword, we are invoking the base class constructor through the derived class constructor. And there is some restriction. The super keyword inside the constructor should be placed as a first line inside the derived class constructor. So if I try to put this statement here, okay, so it will throw me an error. So it is telling constructor should be the first statement inside another constructor. So I cannot use the super keyword to invoke the constructor in between lines. So it should be the first line inside the constructor. And now what I'm going to do is I need to create another one rectangle object. Rectangle R is equal to new rectangle. The side is 2 and the value is 10, and then the length and breadth I need to change it to 15 and 25, and the side I want to give is 12. Okay, so now what will happen? So I'm getting an error since I have a rectangle class with empty constructor. I have a rectangle class with empty constructor, and also I have a constructor with 2 arguments. I don't have any constructor inside my rectangle class with 3 arguments. So what I have to do? I need to overload. I need to overload inside my constructor with 3 arguments. The first argument specify the side, the second argument specify the length, and the third argument specify the breadth. Okay, so the data members of rectangle class is length and breadth, and that I am initializing with the value L and B. So length is equal to L and breadth is equal to B. Okay, but what happened to this S? S is not the data member of the rectangle class. The S belongs to the data member of the base class, that is the shape class. So I need to pass this data from this derived class constructor to my base class constructor. So you know how to call your base class constructor, that is by using the super keyword, and I am trying to pass the side because my base class constructor needs the side as one argument to initialize the S variable in the base class. So when I pass 3 argument, the first argument belong to my base class, and that I am passing using the super keyword. So it get passed to my base class constructor, and the remaining 2 arguments will get initialized with the data members of the derived class. So I'm going to put S out, and this is also my derived constructor, which contains 3 arguments now. Okay, so I will clear my console, and now when I call this object creation, it will match the rectangle constructor with 3 arguments. So it will go to the line number 28, and from that it is identifying the first line to be executed is invoking the base class constructor from the derived class using the super keyword. So automatically from the line number 29, the control goes to line number 9, and inside the shape class, that is a base class, the side value get initialized and this statement get executed, base constructor with 1 argument. After executing that, it will come to the line number 30 and initialize the values of length and breadth, and it will display the value available in the line number 32. And now we'll run it. Yes, so we are having base class constructor get executed first using the super keyword. That 1 argument will be passed to your base class and initialize the side value, and followed by the derived class constructor, the value with 3 argument, and that statement get executed, and the value whatever you passed. So the side will be initialized with 12 and the length will be initialized with 15 and the breadth get initialized with 25. So this is the first usage of super keyword to call the constructors inside the class, that is to call the superclass constructor. And next we are going to see the next usage of the super keyword. And first you need to know what is meant by method overriding. So method overriding means same function name with same signature, but one method is available in the base class, another method is available in the derived class. For example, I am going to add a method called as area, and this is a method available in my base class. Okay, so the same method, I am going to add in my derived class also. So the method with same name, same signature represents the return type is same and the argument list is same. Only the content, the logic or the implementation inside the function may differ. So I am going to represent the area value, length into breadth, and I am going to display area value is the A value. Okay, so now my base class also having an area function, derived class also having an area function, both having same name with same signature. So since it is an inheritance concept, so whatever members available in my base class, the non-private members, they all inherited inside the derived class also. So by using the derived class object, I can access the data members of the derived class and also the data members of the base class, which are non-private. Okay, and now I'm going to create an object. Already I have created. Using this object, I am trying to invoke the area method. Okay, so now which area method get executed? Since I have an area method in the base class and also I have an area method in the derived class. So I represent with the concept of method overriding. So using my derived class object, when I call area, which area method get executed? Whether the area method in the base class or the area method in the derived class. So I will just execute and check. See here, the area method from the derived class only get executed because it multiplied the value length and breadth 15 into 25, 375. But in the base class, I have just printed the value base class area. But that value or that function is not get executed. See here. So whenever you have the same name in the base class and in the derived class, the base class members get hidden. Okay, overriding. Your base class members get hidden, only your derived class get override. So when I create object and access the data members with same name, that time it will invoke only the members of the derived class. It get invoke only the derived class method. It won't invoke the base class method. Now, I want to call that area method also, which is available in my base class. Then what is the solution? So the solution is you can use with the super keyword. Okay. So whenever I call this area function, it will invoke the derived class area function only. So the control will come to the line number 37. So here I am going to add the keyword called as super. Okay. So since the super keyword represents the immediate base class. So using that, I am trying to call the area method. So now this will call the area method available in my base class. So now I will execute. Yes, so I get the area method, which is the area method available in my derived class. And from the derived class area method, I am invoking the base class area method. So how I am invoking? I am using the super keyword. So using the super keyword, it will call the immediate base class. That is my shape class. I have there also my area method. So it get called. Okay, so here you may ask me a question. The super keyword should be placed in any place. Yes. So only inside the constructor, the super keyword should be the first line inside that constructor. But here you can use this super keyword here or in the beginning, anywhere you can use. So there is no problem. Okay, but only inside the constructor, the super keyword should be the first line inside the constructor. And I think now you have got an idea, that is invoking of the constructor. So always when you create an object of the derived class in the inheritance, the order of execution of the constructor is base class first, then the derived class. And using the superclass keyword, you can invoke your base class constructor explicitly through your derived class constructor. And the second concept is method overriding. Method overriding means same function name with same signature, but one method is available in the base class, the another method is available in the derived class. In that case, whenever you create object for the derived class and you invoke the method, it will invoke the method available in the derived class only. It will hide the method available in the base class with the same name. So to access that method available in the base class, again you can use with the super keyword. So super dot the method name you invoke means it will invoke the same version of the method available in the base class. So that is the two uses of the super keyword. One is calling the superclass constructor. Next is accessing the members of the superclass, which is hidden by the members of the subclass. Thank you.